Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Sharon Silva.
And I'm Aishwarya Kinjot. Let's start off with a look at the headlines.
President orders compensation for those injured in the Ratpaswala incident.
Constitutional Assembly convened to prepare the draft for the new constitution.
Panama Papers puts 3 Sri Lankan companies on the spotlight.
Delays at the National Medicine Regulatory Authority causes a shortage in essential drugs.
President Maithripala Sirisena has permitted to grant compensation to the 33 people who were injured in the Ratapaswala incident.
The President's Media Unit stated that President Maithripala Sirisena has permitted to grant 4.68 million rupees as compensation to the 33 people who were injured in the incident. The President's Media Division said that the presentation of compensation will take place on the 8th of April under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena. The President had taken this decision following the recommendations made in the report of the committee that probed the incident. On another note, Justice H.C.J. Madhavala was sworn in as the acting President of Court of Appeal before President Maithripala Sirisena yesterday.
The United National Party Working Committee convened this morning.
The meeting at the party headquarters, Sirikota, was presided over by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Although there were reports that they would change to the top-tier position of the party before today's meeting, no such changes had taken place. Leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, took a strong step forward for the betterment of the United National Party. He commenced the talks of building the 3rd, 4th and 5th tiers of the party. Various sources have spread misleading information without knowing anything. This was seen in the media. I am saddened about that. We must make conclusions only after we have accurate and reliable information. Therefore, together with the Prime Minister, we hope to support him and the party today and in the future. All I have to tell the person spreading false information is the words of my late father. The truth will prevail. Organizing the May Day rally and restructuring of the party was discussed at today's meeting. During the meeting, Minister Daya Gamage was appointed as the senior deputy chairman of the party. The working committee of the UMP had also decided to abolish the post of the national organizer. Minister Sujiva Senasinghe and Lasantha Gunawardena have been appointed to the UMP working committee. State Minister Ruwan Wijewardena and Deputy Minister Dr. Harsha De Silva were appointed as the assistant secretaries of the party. Minister Akila Viraj Karyavasan was appointed as the chairman of the Jatika Sevaka Sangamaya, while MP Kavinda Jayawardena was appointed as the president of the National Youth Front. Minister Harin Fernando has been appointed as president of the Ceylon National Estate Workers Union, while State Minister Sujiva Senasinghe was made the chair of the Public Services Trade Unions.
The party has made strides with strengthening the workers of this country, and on that account the trade unions would be strengthened in the future, and for that the trade unions, Honorable Ranjit Madhumabandar, Honorable Akila Viraj Karyavasan, Honorable Harin Fernando and Honorable Sujiva Senasinghe were appointed to play key roles, and further appointments would be made to strengthen the trade union.
I was presented the opportunity to attend a working committee meeting for the first time. I am thankful to the leader of the party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, party chairman, Malik Samaravikrama, and all other members. The Prime Minister appointed me to head the matters pertaining to public service trade unions. The Prime Minister was of the view to appoint the young members and, while creating the country, to also make the party.
Minister Mahinda Amaravira commented on the local government representatives who had breached the party discipline. The Constitutional Assembly, chaired by Speaker of Parliament Karu Jayasuriya, convened for the first time today.
Parliament convened as usual this afternoon, and the items in the agenda were taken up in a very short span of time. Thereafter, parliamentary proceedings were postponed to 1 p.m. tomorrow. When the symbol of authority in Parliament, the mace, was removed, the Speaker took a seat below the designated seat in preparation for a working committee session. Thereafter, Parliament commenced its operations and activities as a Constitutional Assembly, a motion which was unanimously passed in Parliament recently. What is notable is that all 225 parliamentarians are included into the Constitutional Assembly, and the sessions took place in the Parliamentary Chamber.
අපගේ රට ගැලපෙන ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවක් සකස් කිරීම පිළිබඳව සලකා බලා
The aim is to prepare a constitution that meets the requirements of a country after seeking the opinion of the people and using the powers of the articles in the constitution. Let us now prepare ourselves to work as the Constitutional Assembly, where the task would be to create a draft constitution together with all parliamentarians.
අපි කටයුතු කිරීමට සූදානම් වෙමු.
7 deputy chairmen of the Constitutional Assembly were appointed today. The 7 deputy chairmen are Tilanga Sumbadipala, A. Adekalanathan, Kabir Hashim, Dr. Sudarshini Fernandapule, Tilak Marapana, Mahindayapa Bivadana and Dr. Nalinda Jatissa.
ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථා මණ්ඩලය එකඟද?
I second that proposal by Honorable Lakshman Kiriel.
ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථා මණ්ඩලය එකඟද? Carried. ඊළඟට ඇත්තේ ස්ටියරිං කමිටුව සඳහා අන්තිමට 21 දෙනෙකු පත් කිරීම.
Karu Lakshman Kiriel Mahata.
I propose that Lakshman Kiriel, Nimad Siripala de Silva, Rauf Hakim, Vijayadas Rajapaksa, Susil Premachanta, Rishad Padudin, Patili Champika Ranavaka, D.M. Swaminathan, Manu Ganeshan, Malik Samar Vikrama, R. Sampandan, Andrew Kumar Disanayaka, Dilan Pereira, Dinesh Gunabodhana, Dr. Jayampati Vikramanatna, M.A. Sumandiran, Dr. Tusita Vijayamana, Bimal Ratnayaka, Prasanna Ranatunga and Douglas Devananda be appointed to the committee and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe be appointed as chair of the committee.
The steering committee will be tasked with preparing the draft for the new constitution, and their first sitting took place today as well.
As mentioned previously, Minister Mahinda Amaravira commented on the local government representatives who had breached the party discipline.
We have decided to expel them from the party. Though they raise their voice, they will see no return. This is a group that always makes noise for everything.
In the meantime, the May Day rally of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party-led United People's Freedom Alliance is being discussed widely at various fora.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party Central Working Committee, which convened last evening under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena, had decided to have its May Day rally at the Samanala grounds in Galle.
This year, the May Day rally will take place in Galle. We appointed the committee for that. The committee comprises of Kumara Velgama, Mahindananda Alutgamage and Pavitra Vanyarachi. It was agreed to have a May Day rally together. We invite all those who represent the United People's Freedom Alliance and those who don't to join us. It was the SLFP Central Committee that decided to conduct the May Day rally in Galle.
Accordingly, the President had called all the party electorate organisers today to discuss the May Day related matters.
We have no issue with the joint opposition. We are moving forward with everyone in the SLFP-led United People's Freedom Alliance. We will not split. We will conduct this May Day rally in a strong manner for the future of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. As SLFP electorate organisers, we arrived here to discuss the matters related to the May Day rally. We spoke on the May Day rally of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
MP Gamini Lokuge also commented on the matter.
The joint opposition will have a separate May Day rally that will take place in Kirlapana with the leftist parties. There is a party policy and a party constitution. If one is a member of the party, one must be aware of the party constitution. Politicians who have been elected as public representatives must be completely aware of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party constitution. When we are having a meeting or an event, this need not be reminded. We are prepared to take decisions for the party.
The Panama Papers have set off a tornado that has so far swept many countries across the globe. Current and former heads of state, the rich and famous in films, sports, their families and associates, besides criminals in its wake. Sri Lanka is also in the spotlight.
News First last evening on our primetime news bulletins revealed the report compiled by the International Consortium of investigative journalists consisting of information of prominent figures including former and current state leaders who had employed ways to evade sanctions, dodge taxes and facilitate political corruption. These cache of 11.5 million records of a massive leak of documents expose the offshore holdings of current and former state leaders, and the leak also provides details of the hidden financial dealings of 128 more politicians and public officials across the world. In this backdrop, the leak of documents dubbed Panama Papers has taken center stage, calling for reforms in offshore transactions. The scandal of the Panama Papers has rocked the global rich and the powerful. An interactive map on the investigation marks Sri Lanka on it as well. The map, published by the Irish Times, is titled as Secret Companies Around the World. The interactive map clearly indicates that 3 Sri Lankan companies with 3 clients and 22 shareholders have been listed in the report. With the objective of finding answers and delve deep on the matter, Newsfirst wrote to the ICIJ to understand whether any Sri Lankan or Sri Lankan-based organization has been listed in the Panama Papers. We are awaiting a reply.
Well, you're looking at secrets. It's always about secrets and letting people in on a secret. And there seems to be a lot of secrets in there. Some of the names look pretty interesting. They're big international names. I would say, first observation, it's a lot more promising.
On an earlier occasion, the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists exposed a database called the Offshore Leaks, where addresses of Sri Lankan companies had been listed. Many politicians here in Sri Lanka over the last few months had exposed details of money laundering activities.
Seychelles is where large-scale black-to-white money conversions take place. We have received word that the billions in US dollars have been moved from there to Dubai and then deposited in Ukraine. $1 billion US is 130 billion Sri Lankan rupees. Who does this money belong to? We have received petitions that claim that there is evidence to prove that some Sri Lankan politicians had bank accounts in Bangkok. I handed them over to the Ministry of Finance. This is sent by the Sri Lankans working in the bank over there. They take photographs of the screens and send it here. The money has been moved to Ukraine. We are looking for the money trail.
No concrete action is yet to be seen from the authorities, despite the claims made by the higher echelons of the government during the last 1 year. However, in a significant move, neighbouring India had welcomed the Panama report, while France, Australia and Iceland and even India had already launched investigations into the findings.
The Panama story is just emerging and it looks like there are some Sri Lankan companies or individuals also being named in this controversy. Of course, as a country, we have to be responsible to ensure there is accountability. And the Sri Lankan government will definitely want to have a full detailed exposure of who these companies are and for what purposes these funds have been deposited in Panama. So there will be probably questions asked in Parliament, there will be questions taken up at cabinet level.
This report has revealed details of how state leaders of 50 countries in the world work towards converting stolen money into white money. So our FCID and the Bribery Commission can also obtain this report and their assistance and conduct an investigation to locate the money stolen from the public. Do you believe that they would find them? Over the recent past, we constantly spoke, leveled allegations and submitted complaints on how public money was stolen through the construction of roads, bridges, drains and contractors, how they earned black money through various irregular means and were deposited in foreign accounts. Now it has come to a point where Sri Lankan names have also been mentioned in the Panama incident. We urge this government to immediately look into this matter and reveal the truth to the country.
Definitely, we will look into this and see how best we can get the information. We are not geared for this sort of actually inquiries and even litigation because it is all new area for us, which even Sri Lankan law doesn't support really for us to get information or finding facts or to get money from abroad which are in foreign accounts. So that is the struggle we are having at the moment. We don't have a proper system like in the US or Germany or like in England. But definitely we will look into this.
The central bank must immediately look into this matter and I hope the governor will issue a statement in the not too distant future as to what his plans are in order to investigate the Sri Lankan names that would be divulged in the coming days. And if politicians' names come up, then tough luck. If business people's names come up, again tough luck.
In the latest development into this story, the Prime Minister of Iceland has asked the President to dissolve Parliament after allegations he concealed millions of dollars worth of investments in an offshore company. Prime Minister Sigmundur Gunnlaugsson faced growing pressure over documents showing he and his wife owned offshore firm Wintris.
Moving back to news from here at home, as the proposed Sampur coal-powered power plant continues to be criticized in many public fora, JVP Politburo member KD Lalkanta organized a public meeting to raise awareness over the issue.
The meeting, which took place in Muttur yesterday, saw a number of views being expressed on the negative impact that Sampur power plant would pose to the locals in the area. Not a single politician had said that there will be no harm from the proposed Sampur coal power plant. Can anyone say like that? If the people are to agree to this, the politicians who are not agreeing to this, who are not opposing this, must come onto a common understanding on the matter. Why does the country need another coal power plant? This is based on political needs. The politicians must think about this. If they don't work against this, they will not receive our votes. There are 21 MPs in Parliament. They have not spoken of the negative impact that the Sampur plant can pose to the people. Among these persons are ministers and deputy ministers. If this matter was even raised at a parliamentary sitting, we could have raised this matter on the international platform. It was said that the power plant is being built to provide electricity to the industrial zone that will be constructed. There were no people. Now there are people. There is no industrial zone. However, they say that a power plant will be built. Today, MPs and ministers get involved in a matter that would only benefit them. In addition, the rulers get involved in matters that would have a political impact on the people. We must all work together to make this a political issue that the government cannot move away from.
The annual general meeting of the Bioenergy Association of Sri Lanka was held yesterday.
We don't need India to build a coal power plant in the country. What we should say is that if they want, they can build solar power in the country. If not, at the very least, convert it to gas power. We need to have a backbone to say that in a cordial way. In France, Costa Rica said that they are moving into 100% renewable energy, and so did Bhutan and Germany. But India did not confirm where the world stands and where we stand on this matter. In the declaration we signed that we have completely moved away from the era of oil. Even though we have signed this declaration, I do not think this government has a clear stance as yet. The Prime Minister tells the engineers that what they say does not matter. What matters is what is said in the country's policy. So engineers become furious with the Prime Minister and go home packing. Coal power plants are being closed. Even the Japanese are closing them down. While closing them down, they begin to wonder if they could shift one or two of those power plants to Sri Lanka to free their country from coal power plants. There has been a scarcity of water since the past few days. This was due to the dry weather. The other reason is because of mismanagement. In the end, it is not about how many megawatts or kilowatts are generated or what is the value generated per hour. It is about the agriculture aspect, protection of the environment and our global temperatures. All these matters should be taken into consideration. Today, the modern world has understood the issue in fossil fuel. I'm not saying that we are in an exemplary situation to completely move away from fossil fuel, but we have entered the era to develop renewable energy as an alternative to fossil fuel with the intention of reducing its use.
පුනර්ජනනීය බලශක්ති ප්‍රභේදයන් වර්ධනය කරන කාලයට අවිල්ලයි.
Governing party MP Palitha Tevara Peruma demonstrated today, citing that the construction of the Mathugama Agaloya road is not taking place according to the proper standards.
The parliamentarian, along with a group of residents, visited the construction site of the road.
Isn't there a method to break this? Don't you have a code of conduct? Why are people breaking the road the way they please? The road is wide.
The previous government had allocated a sum of 4,015 million rupees for the renovation of this road. The residents of the area charged that even though the government had paid compensation for the removal of certain houses and other constructions for the renovation of the 23-kilometer long road, the officials have not yet removed these constructions.
When constructing this road coming down from the upper portion, the drain has been moved to the right and the lamppost has been placed in the drain so as to benefit a certain faction.
The project engineer of the Road Development Authority arrived at the location amidst opposition from the area residents to make an explanation on the situation.
Do you accept that the way you are working here is wrong? It is as a result of this that you and I are wasting our time here. You must first follow a certain method when doing this. This area is made. Then come the morning, they smash it with the JCB and the clay has begun to surface as a result of this. Now they are digging this again and then they spray water with a bucket. There is no water motor. But the cost is some 4,000 million. We will take steps to pass the information on this matter and restructure the plan and construct the road in that manner.
Up next is our investigative news segment, Action TV.
On the 31st of last month, the Director General of Health Services addressed this letter to the Chairman of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority. However, the situation in the country is far more different than what is mentioned in the letter by these institutions. This is relating to essential drugs. According to this letter from the Director General of Health Services, government hospitals and the Medical Supplies Division does not possess any stocks of 8 essential drugs. What is even more serious is that there is no alternative drug in the absence of the 8 types of drugs. Amongst this is a vaccine in the National Immunization Program. And the letter writes that the National Drug Regulatory Authority should be held accountable for the inconveniences caused owing to the lack of these drugs. The reason for this situation to arise is that the Medical Supplies Division has not yet provided the suppliers with the relevant renewed registration certificates. Owing to this situation, it is the patient with low income that has to pay the cost or maybe even face death owing to the lack of treatments. However, on the other hand, it is the private medical suppliers that are benefited from this process, as patients who arrive at the government hospitals are prescribed with drugs and then are directed to private medical suppliers to obtain these drugs. Does regulation mean to be lethargic and worsen the sickness? Minister of Health, this is over to you.
At the time, the Indian film industry had the influence in Sri Lanka, monopolizing their power of technology on production of Sri Lankan films. The individual who brought uniqueness to the Sri Lankan theatre, Dr. Lester James Pieris, reached his 97th birthday today.
He who started his career as a journalist later joined the short filming industry due to the love and passion he had towards the cinema. His masterly production back on the 29th of December 1956, Ray Cover, became historic as it was a start to a revolution in the Sri Lankan cinema. When the Sri Lankan producers were in an era where they were inclined to produce films on commercial basis caused by the want of technical infrastructure, it was Dr. Lester James Pieris who contemplated to exert his cinematic know-how towards resilience of the film industry by his influence of productions depicting indigenous culture. He won the Ranamayura Award for Rekhavar in the Delhi International Film Festival. Productions such as Sandeshya, Gamperaliya, Ransalu, Delava Katara, Goluhadavata, Nidanaya and Vakandavalawa were turning points in his journey in the film industry. Lester James Peris, who is older in age, has always been young and energetic in cinema, and the brilliancy of resplendent contribution made by him to Sri Lankan cinema will be etched in the memories of the citizenry of Sri Lanka. Pathakata, which was telecast on our sister channel Sirasa TV, has a special program today to honour and appreciate the services rendered by this great individual to the Sri Lankan filming industry.
I think if he had inherited any wealth from his parents, we might have sold it to the productions. We did not steal money from anyone, and he never went behind money. If we had addressed him as filmmaker instead of doctor, even when the time goes, anyone will know who he is.
Following Sri Lanka's disastrous performance at the ICC World 2020, SOC Chief of Selectors Aravinda De Silva attended a media briefing today at the National Library and Documentation Services Board.
I accept the responsibility, not the other selectors. I alone accept the full responsibility. I have nothing to fear. Cricket cannot be changed in a year or two. For that, a plan for about 5 or 6 years is needed. The development must be right. Former Test cricket captain Arjuna Ranatunga also expressed views at this event. If there was a separate team to manage cricket, like Aravinda said, for about 5 years, they can follow a proper plan. If we have a national policy for cricket, no matter who comes, they can't change it. It is there that the value of the interim committee is seen. The interim committee answers to no one. We understand cricket. So when we understand, we know who can do this job best and thereafter make a suitable team accordingly. It is not only the sportsmen who worked with us. We need new sportsmen like Mahela and Sangakkara because they have more knowledge on the technical aspect of cricket.
NASA wants to show the world how beautiful Earth can be from a different perspective.
The space agency released a new time-lapse view of our home planet from the view of the International Space Station.
We leave you tonight with mesmerizing footage of planet Earth. I'm Shane Silva.
I'm Aisha. Until take care. Good night.